We have a monster slate in the NHL tonight, and I've got 3 bets for it. Let's get to it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Thursday episode of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Connie. It's been a minute on this channel, but if you didn't catch it, I made my on-camera debut on the BettingPros YouTube channel earlier this week with my best bets in the NHL. Won that bet with the Leafs money line. Had Austin Matthews score a goal. He didn't, but that was posted there. So every so often you will see me pop up doing stuff for BettingPros. So when I do stuff over there, I won't be doing a video here because then it would just end up being too much and sort of whatever. But if you follow me across my social channels, you will see all of that stuff. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of that fun stuff there. I also have an article on the Formula One futures. I've got Lando Norris to win the F1 championship this season. Very excited for F1. We'll be doing some F1 stuff here on this channel throughout the season. Likely tomorrow have a bet for the Australian Grand Prix as well. So today we're still focused on hockey. I'm not going to do too much NBA. I don't know. I kind of want to find that niche. Let me know what you guys think, because if you do follow me on the BettingPros app, which is linked in the description, or if you follow me on my socials, I do post all of my bets. So for example, I've got a bunch of golf bets in the Players this weekend. I've got a parlay in college basketball for tonight. So I do have other stuff, but in terms of talking about it on this particular channel, it's probably going to be NHL. It's probably going to be F1. We'll see what happens as we get into the end of the NHL season and into the MLB season. So there's enough people doing NBA. There's certainly enough people doing the NFL. Even though I like betting those and I will bet those, that's why you follow those other things there. You can track all those bets. Over 100 followers on the BettingPros app, which is pretty fun. But if you're just here for the picks, let's just start with the picks. Big game tonight. There's 2 big games in the NHL tonight. One game is the Capitals and the Kings. The other one, this one. The Florida Panthers at the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm not just saying that as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, but this has huge implications in the playoff race in the Atlantic Division, because right now, whoever finishes second and third, like you've got the Leafs, the Panthers, and the Lightning. 2 of those teams are going to play each other in the first round. You want to be one of the teams that does not do that in the first round. So whoever wins the Atlantic has a bit of an advantage there. Right now, the first in the Atlantic is the Florida Panthers by 2 points. I don't really want to touch this one, though. I'm going to just go with the total. You can get a 20% odds boost right now at BetMGM, which I'm taking to take this number from 5.5 to 6 and then bet the under. You actually can get the under. I believe you can get the under at some books as well. It's like minus 120, minus 125. A lot of them are at 5.5. I like 6. As you know, if you've been following long enough, totals in hockey, when I get 6, that's the number I like to either go over or under. I've got one over 6 today, and I've got one under 6 today because of the push potential. If it lands on 6, no harm, no foul. I love that, okay? Under 6 today, the Florida Panthers in their last 10 games have gone under 7 times. On the season, they're 33-30-2 to the under. Toronto Maple Leafs are 31-30-3 to the over, so essentially 50-50. But in Toronto's head-to-head in the last 10, it's 7-3 to the under. Toronto, in their last 10 games, have gone to the over. They've been scoring more goals, and they've been giving up goals. They gave up 7 goals to Colorado. They gave up 5 goals to Vegas. So, obviously, there is some concern there. But I do think there's going to be some regression to the mean. As I mentioned, they're around 500 to the over-under on the season. They're 1 game over, which before this last 10 games, they were actually an under team. And then you've got the Florida Panthers. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games to the under as well. And the big deciding factor here is usually, Toronto's good at his games in Toronto. Toronto's 20-11-1 at home this season. Florida's a decent road team. But when you combine everything together, this game is essentially for the lead of the Atlantic Division. Toronto would tie it with a win. Florida would take an even bigger lead with a win there as well. This is going to be a playoff game. Florida Panthers coming off winning the Stanley Cup last year. They've played in playoffs in recent years. Both of these teams are going to want to win this game, and when that is the case, I like the under. In the last 5 games, Florida's goaltending between Bobrovsky and Vanacek, 4-1. Goals against under 1. They've given up 4 goals in their last 5 games as a whole. Save percentage of .968. Toronto goaltending, not quite as good between Wall and Stolarz. As I mentioned, they have a goals against over 3 and a save percentage of just .829. But I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. Toronto hasn't played in a few days. They're going to be ready. Toronto's coming off. They beat Utah in overtime, but then they previously had lost to Colorado, lost to Vegas. They've played, let's see, in their last 10 hockey games, 8 of them have been on the road, and 7 of their last 8 have been on the road. They're back home for a while now. I think that home cooking's going to help. The goaltending especially. I do lean Toronto to win this hockey game, but I don't want to touch the total. So give me the Leafs and the Panthers to go under 6. Even money at BetMGM. Next bet. Minnesota Wild and the New York Rangers. Give me the Minnesota Wild here on the money line. And the head-to-head matchup is split 5-5 over the last 10 meetings. New York won their previous meeting, but they haven't played since November of 2023. Isn't that interesting? The New York Rangers come into this game on a 4-game losing streak, and they're in trouble in the playoff race. Before this losing streak, they were 31, 24, and 6. They were doing okay. Now they're only 3 games above 500. A lot of times I'll like to bet on the other side of that streak and say, well, now's the perfect time for them to come out of this losing streak, and the odds are basically -110 on both sides. But when you're playing the Minnesota Wild, who they're 5-5 in their last 10 as well, they're not playing the greatest hockey either. They just won in a shootout to the Colorado Avalanche 2 days ago. Previous to that, they'd lost to Pittsburgh, lost to Vancouver. Not the greatest 2 teams on the planet. So they need a big win too. They're not the greatest home team. But I just think that this is not the team. They're 6 wins more than New York. 4 less losses. This is not a get-right team. So in this instance, we're going to bet with the trend. And particularly when you look at the goaltending, we just mentioned the difference between the Leafs and the Panthers. The New York Rangers' last 5 games between Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick, who they just re-upped, they're 1-2-2 in those last 5, a goals against of 3.2, and a save percentage of just .889. Then you look at Minnesota, phenomenal. Between Gustafsson, Marc-Andre Fleury, who seems to be the ageless wonder, 3-2 in their last 5, a goals against of just 1.6, save percentage of .936, and Minnesota's at home. For that reasons, give me the Minnesota Wild -110 on the money line. And the last bet, as I mentioned, another 6 spot. We're getting the Chicago Blackhawks and the San Jose Sharks. This is what you call a set it and forget it game. We're not watching this game. These teams have combined records of 37 and 76. Disgusting. San Jose is 9-20 at home. Chicago 7-21 on the road. Perhaps the only intrigue of this is the first overall picks from the past 2 drafts will be playing each other. Connor Bedard of Chicago against Macklin Celebrini of San Jose. Celebrini's actually had a pretty good season so far. He's got 48 points in 54 games, including 20 goals. You've got Connor Bedard. Both of these guys teenagers, by the way. Connor Bedard has 52 points, including 17 goals. But I'm just taking the over in this spot because the goaltending, not so great. Last 10 head-to-head matchups dating back to 2022, the over has gone over 6 times. Chicago is 6-3-1 to the over in their last 10 hockey games. And San Jose is also over 500 in their last 10 to the over as well. On the season, San Jose is 500. Chicago is 5 games over 500 to the over. Category this season. So I like the over there. Goaltending has been okay for Chicago, 2.6 goals against over their last 5. San Jose, not so much. Goals against of 3.5. Save percentage of .871. And then when you just look at the offensive numbers on the season, Chicago's averaging 3 goals on the year. San Jose's defense is giving up an average of 3.7 goals per game, and it's similar when you flip it around. Chicago's been giving up goals all year long too. So even though neither of these teams are very good, I think the offenses are going to do fine. I think Bedard and Celebrini probably get a couple of points each there as well. And again, you've got that round number of 6. So if it's a 4-2 final, something of that nature, then we push. So give me the Chicago Blackhawks, San Jose Sharks to go over 6. That is -120. So those are my favorite 3 bets for the day. Give me the Leafs and the Panthers to go under 6. Give me the Minnesota Wild on the money line, and the Blackhawks and the Sharks to go over 6. As I mentioned, you can follow me on the BettingPros app or across my social channels. More picks and props throughout the day. I've already got bets in college basketball. I've already got bets in PGA. Probably be adding some more stuff today as well. So, have a great Thursday. Let's talk sports.